¿Qué onda? This is Shista Garcilaso. Aztlan Weekly is a volunteer-based community news outlet. Our work is brought to you by the contributions of El Partido Nacional de la Raza Unida, PNLRU, also known as La Raza Unida Party. If you're interested in learning more about the party or want to join, visit www.razaunidaparty.org. Our show is also brought to you by Maíz Poppin' Press, a raza-based publisher producing cultura para la raza. For more info, visit their webpage, www.maizpoppin.com, or find them on social media by searching at Maíz Poppin' Press, and keep a lookout for their upcoming book, Once Upon a Time in Occupied Aztlan, by El Indio, copyright 1985. Lastly, Aztlan Weekly is made possible by you, the listener. If interested in offering further contributions or support, visit www.aztlanweekly.com.
We interrupt this program for a special news bulletin.
There is a signal broadcast every second of every day. Look around the environment we live in. Carbon dioxide, fluorocarbons, and methane have increased. We are resourced to them. They want benign indifference. They want us drugging. We could be pets. We could be food. But all we really are is livestock. Our impulses are being redirected. We are living in an artificially induced state of consciousness that resembles sleep. The poor and the underclass are growing. Racial justice and human rights are non-existent. They have created a repressive society, and we are their unwitting accomplices. Their intention to rule rests with the annihilation of consciousness. We have been lulled into a trance. They have made us indifferent to ourselves, to others. We are focused only on our own gain. Please understand, they are safe as long as they are not discovered. That is their primary method of survival. Keep us asleep, keep us selfish, keep us sedated.
Pure Raza, yo soy Ernesto Ayala, and this is Aztlan Weekly. First of all, we'd like to recognize the very heroic valor of La Raza and all of the allies that have faced the onslaught of the fascist colonial ice raids by this government. Throughout Aztlan and beyond, La Raza continues to resist this horrid terror that has engulfed us all. People throughout North Carolina, Florida, New York, New Orleans, and many other places are being subject to these criminal kidnappings, but also are showing the occupying government that we will never, never back down. Saludos to all the raza out there. Venceremos. Abajo con ICE. Also, an urgent notice about Chicano political prisoner Alvaro Luna Hernandez, also known as Xinachtli, who has been imprisoned since 1996 in Texas. Xinachtli was sentenced in Odessa, Texas on June 29, 1997 to 50 years in prison for defending himself by disarming a police officer, drawing a weapon on him. And he was unarmed. The trial evidence clearly showed Xinachtli was the victim of various witch hunts and a police-orchestrated conspiracy to frame or eliminate him. Xinachtli in Alder now is being denied proper medical care by the colonial state. The Instagram page Free Xinachtli Now, campaigning to free our camarada Tejano Chicano political prisoner Xinachtli, who has served over 23 years in solitary confinement, invites all to, quote, join us in Austin next Saturday, December 13th, to protest against the inhumane conditions and medical abuse Xinachtli, who is being subjected to neglect by the Texas government. Every day and every moment counts. We refuse to let our revolutionary elder Shinashli Alvaro Luna Hernandez die by incarceration. Please read the full post for more information on his condition and how to take action. Para más información, please visit Free Shinashli Now, the Instagram page. Just search that up, Free Shinashli Now. You will find it. You could also find more information on freealvaro.net. In support of our compañero Alvaro Luna Hernandez Shinashli, el Partido Nacional de la Raza Unida has issued the following open letter. In defense of our revolutionary elder, Alvaro Luna Hernandez Shinashli, to our relatives, comrades, and all people of conscience, the Partido Nacional de la Raza Unida, PNLRU, issues the urgent call for the immediate release of political prisoner Alvaro Luna Hernandez, also known as Shinashli, indigenous name for Seed, a warrior for justice who has endured over 23 years in solitary confinement under conditions that constitute torture. We as a people rooted in the liberation of Aztlan and committed to national self-determination for Chicanas, Chicanos, and all oppressed peoples recognize Shinashli as not merely a prisoner of the state, but as a prisoner of conscience. Raza, we urge you to call, email, write, etc. We cannot allow our very own Chicano political prisoner, elder, to be tortured and ignored for any longer. Free Alvaro. Viva Shinashli, viva la raza, que viva Aztlán libre. Now, news from our camarada Hashir Quintos Navarro desde Fresno, Califas. Tragically, a California family was about to cut a birthday cake when gunfire erupted at a toddler's birthday party. As family and friends gathered at a banquet hall in Stockton, Califas, more than 100 people celebrating a toddler's birthday on Saturday, November 29th, gunfire erupted. 4 people were killed, 3 children aged 8, 9, and 14, and a 21-year-old, and 11 others were injured. Authorities from the San Joaquin County Sheriff's Office say the shooting appears to have been a targeted attack, possibly involving multiple shooters. While no arrests have been made, investigators are urging witnesses to step forward, offering a reward for information, and local officials have described the violence as unacceptable, expressing grief and outrage over such a senseless act at a child's party. Meanwhile, faith leaders of multiple backgrounds gathered with a nonprofit, Faith in the Valley, to hold a vigil in tribute to the loved ones of the victims for justice. So far, no suspects have been identified. The community at large is in grief, many still in shock at the senselessness of what has occurred. The Chicano Youth Center of Fresno has had celebrations to honor the child and the family. Y noticias desde Tejaslan. The Carnalismo Brown Berets, along with the Society of Native Nations y también the American Indian Movement, announced their winter coat and blanket drive. Quote, "We are taking donations for the colder months coming upon us. Please help and also spread the word. We are willing to come to you for donations and drop-offs if needed. Let's keep those in el frío in our hearts and minds and help keep them warm in these brutal elements. If interested in donating, or if in need, please contact us at the following phone numbers: 210-413-8978. That's 210-413-8978. Or you can visit Los Brown Berets Instagram account by searching brown.berets.cnbb. That's brown.berets.cnbb. Let's help keep Aztlán warm, raza. And news from Califaslan. According to campusreform.org, El Estado de Califas experienced a record loss of over 20,000 college-bound estudiantes who enrolled in out-of-state college institutions. This figure is severely higher than previous records and constitutes approximately 15% of the state's college-bound high school graduates. Y en noticias desde Burque, Nuevo Mexicaslan, last week poet Jessica Helen Lopez shared on her social media account, quote, "I am extremely honored and tickled pink that I was contracted by the city of Albuquerque earlier this year to write an occasional poem in honor of the Route 66 Centennial Celebration. I am in great company among other artists of various mediums: Hakeem Belemi, mi hermano, Sonja Killer, Helen Atkinson, Dale DeForest, Leah Anderson, Deborah Jojola, Refract Studio holding down the augmented reality tech, Vivo Creative, and the good gente of the COA Arts and Culture Department. We have collaborated to create a synergistic experience to commemorate 100 years of Route 66, 2,448 miles traveled time and time again, across the decades. I was happily assigned the Special Collections Library located at 423 Central Avenue NE earlier this week. I was able to hang out with the Vivo creative crew and talk about books, poetry, community, and of course, the enduring significance of the Mother Road. This project will be launched soon. Stay tuned to keep up to date at vivo.crtv, at vivo.collective, at Shell Van Sanchez. Follow Jessica Helen Lopez on her Instagram page by searching JEC_Lopez26. And back to Calif Aztlan. Last week, November 27, 2025, the annual Indigenous Peoples Thanksgiving Sunrise Gathering, also known as On Thanksgiving Day, took place on Alcatraz Island. The event attracted hundreds of people to commemorate Indigenous American resistance and resilience, as well as the 1969 to 1971 occupation of the island. The gathering marked the 56th anniversary of the Alcatraz occupation by the Indians of all tribes, including Chicano activists. The Thanksgiving Sunrise Gathering was organized by the International Indian Treaty Council. To learn more, visit www.iitc.org. And news desde Arizona Aztlan, Arizona. According to azfamily.com, the former president of the Nogales Police Officers Association, Victor Hetherington, received a mere 4 years of probation for embezzling over $30,000 from the union, requiring him to repay the stolen funds, yet avoiding jail time. According to the report, this corrupt Hura agent committed these crimes, quote, from January 2018 to August 2023. Authorities say Hetherington used the police union's bank account to transfer funds into his own personal accounts. He also repeatedly used union money to pay off his credit cards, eat at restaurants, gamble at casinos, and even pay for a dentist appointment. He essentially received a slap on the wrist when migrant familias are being torn apart by so-called law enforcement, beaten and kidnapped. Que gacho puras, ya saben que. Y en noticias desde Utah Aztlan, Utah. According to the Salt Lake Tribe, or sltribe.com, a coalition of nonprofits have found that dust from the drying Great Salt Lake contains toxic heavy metals and chemicals, creating a health risk for un chingo de raza, up to millions of Utah residents along the Wasatch Front. Quote, the report warns that while much of the discussion and new state-funded dust monitoring network focus on coarse particulate called PM10, Utahns should also be concerned about tiny particulates, 0.1 microns or smaller, called ultrafines. The near-invisible pollutants can penetrate the lungs, bloodstream, placenta, and brain. And we'll be right back after a word from our contributors.
I'm Scott Russell Duncan, Chicano writer, editor, and Aztlan Weekly reporter with the widest name. Scott! Aztlan Weekly is proudly sponsored by El Partido Nacional de la Raza Unida. Visit razaunidaparty.org to join la lucha. Que viva la raza. Now back to Ernesto Ayala with more Aztlan Weekly.
And in news, desde Denver, Color Aztlan. According to the Denver Gazette, La Ciudad is preparing to activate its cold weather shelters to provide refuge for people experiencing homelessness, as temperatures are forecasted to drop significantly low. The city typically opens these emergency shelters when temperatures fall below 20 degrees Fahrenheit, especially if there is accompanying precipitation like snow. The primary goal is to prevent hypothermia and provide a safe, warm place for vulnerable residents. The shelters usually remain open overnight until temperatures rise above the specified threshold or the immediate weather emergency passes. According to the Denver Gazette, article found on denvergazette.com, quote, families seeking shelter are asked to go with their children to the inn at the Highlands, 2601 Zuni Street, to access services. And back to San Diego, Calif Aztlan, Sur Califas, and sad news, ABC7 reports Nana, or Grandma, a female tortoise from the Galapagos Islands and the oldest resident at the world-famous San Diego Zoo, died last week. La Tortuga was estimated to be between the ages of 100 to 110 years old. She lived at the zoo for over 50 years and was significant to reproductive conservation and education programs. Nana La Tortuga's passing was announced on the zoo's social media account. Nana La Tortuga presente. Y en otras noticias desde Santa Fe, Nuevo Mexicaslán, Mayor Alan Weber signed a new living wage ordinance that will increase the city's minimum wage from $15 to $17.50 per hour by 2027. This ordinance is designed to help address housing affordability in the city and is the first in the U.S. to link minimum wage to local housing costs using a blended formula. The increase is expected to benefit approximately 9,000 workers, about 20% of Santa Fe's workforce, enabling them to afford living in the city where they work. City employees will receive the wage increase earlier, starting in 2026. ¡Órale! ¡Que vivan los trabajadores! Y en otras noticias, desde Nuevo Aztlán, Nuevo Mexico is implementing a 3-year pilot program that will provide $500 monthly payments to 330 homeless high school students who meet specific attendance and academic criteria. The program, funded with $2.1 million annually, aims to offer stability and improve graduation rates, drawing inspiration from a successful New Mexico Appleseed pilot. Órale, Simón, que sí, the children are our future. Invest in them. And back to Arizona Aztlán, Arizona. According to KJZZ, Phoenix traditional Native American healing practices are now covered by Medicaid and the Children's Health Insurance Program in Arizona. This coverage is possible through an approved federal waiver from the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, making Arizona one of 4 states, along with California, Nuevo Mexico, and Oregon, to offer this benefit. And now, Aztlan Weekly presenta Palabra.
Tonatzin isn't just one goddess. In Nahuatl, it's a title used to refer to Mother Earth figures. She predates Spanish colonization by centuries. Indigenous communities made pilgrimage to Tepeyac Hill long before 1531. When Spanish colonizers arrived, they created a shrine to the Virgin Mary on Tepeyac Hill, a place that was already sacred to the indigenous communities. Many indigenous people saw Guadalupe as Tonatzin in a new form. This unsettled the Spanish friars, since indigenous people continued to refer to Guadalupe as Tonatzin. But against the colonizers' wishes, her presence has lived on in subtle ways.
And now, Salud with Chuck.
Good morning and good afternoon. Depende donde estás en Aztlán. This is Chuck. I'm here to give a daily or weekly, right? Aztlan Weekly. We're with Aztlan Weekly. And we're just here hanging out at what is Devonshire or Devonwood Park. You know, I like to hang out with my kids and take them to all these public spaces. So we get out and we take up a lot of space, and we're working through that, making sure that our community is well on our daily walks. Today we're in the car. We're hanging out and we're just, you know, observing the life, right? And I had a friend who was asking me to do a... Yes, baby. Oh, can you say what your name? I'm here with Tlaloc. He's joined me. And so, but yeah, he asked me if we could do a little segment on health. And yeah. So here I am. I don't know where to start, but I do know one thing is that, you know, as we hear it all the time, you know, that healing is not linear, right? And, you know, I was just explaining to Ernesto how you know, when we think about water, we think about how it reaches, you know, this cascade, this point of climax. You know, there's a release, and that release comes with the branching out of these waters, right? And some go down a much rougher stream. Others probably end up in a pond or in a, a slower flow of water. But that is how I like to describe sometimes how we heal, is that there may be times when our body demands that we heal right away, and it throws all these symptoms at us, and ways of us feeling different things for the sake of our own well-being, our survival. And that's how I've been looking at healing lately, is that there will be times where I feel like we're not really moving forward, and we'll hit those swampy areas, and that's where our feelings are, become stagnant. That's where we feel that we can be still, because even that brings a lot of medicine into our lives personally. But I will be sharing a little more insight down the line. If y'all have any questions or on things that you would personally like to hear on Aztlan Weekly, feel free to reach out to the brother, and we'll have a little discussion, a little dialogue on how to help our communities heal together during these times. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day, y'all. Back to Ernesto.
And now, eventos en Aztlán.
Food Not Bombs Roswell, New Mexico is a division, a nonprofit under the umbrella of Hagerman Forward. Serves food to those in need every Sunday at 1 and Thursdays at 4. If you reside in the Roswell area or are in need of food, please contact Jocelyn Smith with food distribution locations. I can be reached at 575-208-9509, or you can visit our Facebook page, Food Not Bombs Roswell, New Mexico. Food Not Bombs is a community organization dedicated to feeding the hungry. We believe in providing nutritious meals to those in need rather than wasting food on bombs and violence. Volunteers prepare and serve meals in public spaces, fostering a sense of community and support.
Saludos, mi gente. I want to start this message by first thanking Aztlan Weekly for holding space for our stories and for inviting me to share a little bit about myself and my work with all of you. Tlazokamati, muchas gracias for having me. My name is Doctora Veronica Xochitl Valadez. I'm an ethnic studies educator, scholar activist, traditional Mexica danzante, and along with my partner, Dr. Gabriel Orozco, co-founder of Ejeca Wind Philosophy, which is an ethnic studies consulting agency. Our primary objective is to support K-12 school districts in establishing transformative and powerful ethnic studies classes rooted in liberation and revolutionary love. Our work is grounded in the belief that education can be a site of healing, resistance, and collective liberation if we are willing to challenge the colonial foundations that continue to shape our schools today. Like many of you, I grew up witnessing firsthand how systems fail our Black, Indigenous, and Brown communities, and how deeply our stories and our ancestral memory have the power to transform us. That's what led to my dissertation entitled Planting Seeds of Revolutionary Love and to the development of the 8Rs anti-colonial framework, a framework rooted in indigenous, Chicana, Chicano, Black, and Filipino knowledge systems. This anti-colonial framework asks us to resist colonialism, restore our relationships, remember who we are, and reimagine what education can be when it is grounded in revolutionary love, community, and truth. With that being said, los quiero invitar to a free workshop I'll be hosting in collaboration with VC Defensa this Saturday, December 6th from 1 to 4 p.m. at the Oxnard Public Library. I want to personally invite educators, parents, community organizers, and anyone committed to justicia for our gente to join us. This workshop is called Decolonize Your Classroom, Teaching Truth and Liberation in the Face of ICE. Together, we're going to unpack the way schooling has historically been used to uphold systems of oppression, especially against communities of color and especially immigrant communities who continue to be targeted and terrorized by ICE. But even more importantly, we will explore how we together can transform our classrooms, our homes, and our communities into spaces of resistencia, healing, dignity, and revolutionary love. Although my workshop will be part lecture, it will mostly be an interactive, community-rooted experience. Together, we'll be moving through three main components, including historical reflection, in which we name the systems that have shaped our schools, and critical dialogue, where we will actively imagine liberatory possibilities. And the third component will be artivism, which includes the creation of loteria cards as counter-narratives. This activity comes from the brilliant mind of my good friend and hermano en la lucha, Dr. Luis Genaro Garcia, who is a well-known Chicano artist and ethnic studies educator. These loteria cards are powerful acts of reclaiming our identities by challenging harmful stereotypes and uplifting the beauty, brilliance, and resilience of our communities. Whether you're a teacher, a parent, a youth mentor, or simply someone who cares about justicia, this workshop will give you tools you can use right away to stand in solidarity with our immigrant communities and resist the deeply rooted colonial practices still present in education. I'll close by saying that I truly believe that when we gather to learn, create, and remember together, we breathe life into our ancestors' dreams. We transform not only our classrooms and our communities, but our futures and the futures of our semillas. So please join us on Saturday, December 6th at the Oxnard Public Library. Come ready to reflect, to share good and positive energía, create and imagine what liberation looks like together. For more information, please follow us on Instagram at Ehecat, spelled EHECATL, Wind Philosophy. Tlazocamati, gracias, thank you community, la lucha sigue. I hope to see you Saturday. Hasta pronto.
Y un evento en Las Vegas, Nevada Aztlan, Vegas Latinas Share.
You Latina living in Las Vegas who's always wanted to learn how to make pupusas? Yeah, girl, me too. That's why Vegas Latinas' next event is Manos y Masa, a hands-on pupusa class instructed by pupusa people, a new Salvi pop-up here in Las Vegas. We're going to learn how to make authentic pupusas from scratch. Your ticket includes 3 pupusas you're going to make yourself, queen, fresh agua fresca, a take-home apron, all materials and ingredients, and an instructor. Whether you're Salvi or a fellow Vegas Latina who wants to try something new, this is a fun, beginner-friendly way to learn with fellow Latinas. Emphasis on beginner-friendly because a girl doesn't know how to cook. Special thank you to our sponsors for helping us make this event even more accessible and even more fun for our community. Make sure to give them some love. Spots are limited, so grab your tickets with the link in our bio, and I can't wait to see you there.
For more about Vegas Latinas and all their upcoming events, visit their Instagram account by searching Vegas Latinas. Y un evento en Pacas, Califas, the San Fernando Valley of Califaslan, 30 años de fiesta en el barrio. Join us during the San Fernando Valley Christmas Parade for a community celebration with a purpose. Enjoy our free market, free tamales, and champurrado y también the Lucha Fest wrestlers. This event will also have photographs and autographs, as well as toys for families with kids who have been deeply affected by recent immigration-related hardships. We're also calling on volunteers and donors to help us continue this 30-year tradition of making sure every child has a gift to open this Christmas. To donate or volunteer, visit our Instagram page and send a message at larazonida.sfv. This event began in 1995 during a workers' strike in which the Partido de la Raza Unida was called upon by the Price Twister workers in Pacoima, and since then that plant has shut down and left due to NAFTA, which was signed into place by Bill Clinton, and the event has continued since then, in which the Partido Nacional de la Raza Unida and several other community organizations not only provide food, gifts, and a good time to the Raza and residents in Pacoima or San Fernando, or both, but also work to raise consciousness and build power in the community. Please get involved. Join us. More information on larazonida.sfv on Instagram. Y también La Raíz magazine announces their pop-up and art show, art, poetry vendors, and open mic. Nominate an artist for the People's Choice Award or a finalist award. See www.laraizmagazine.com/art. Partial list of artists participating include at Rona Shenamu, at _Sembrando Flores, at Jagi Shahani. This event takes place Saturday, December 6, 2025, from 4 to 7 p.m. in San Jose, Califas. And Las Perras Café desde Tejaslan share. Smart, Funny, and Black Productions and Las Perras Café are joining forces for a one-of-a-kind cultural experience that celebrates humor, intellect, and liberation through art, dialogue, and community. This special event brings at Amanda Seal's newest self-published work, What Would the Ancestors Say?, to Houston, inviting audiences into an evening of laughter, learning, and liberation. The event is completely free. Books and merchandise will be for sale after the event, and the first 100 people to arrive will get the opportunity to get their book signed. Join us for an unforgettable experience featuring a book reading, signing, and liberated dialogue that honors the voices of our ancestors while inspiring the freedom of our own. For more info, visit Instagram and search Las Perras Café. And we'll be right back after a word from our contributors.
I'm Scott Russell Duncan, Chicano writer, editor, and Aztlan Weekly reporter with the widest name. Scott! Aztlan Weekly is produced in association with Maíz Poppin' Press, where we publish radical imagination and resistance writing that pops. Visit maizpoppin.com. We're also in association with the Palabras del Pueblo Writing Workshop, an affordable and accessible online workshop that centers La Raza and strengthens our own literary institutions. Writing that speaks to our community first and loudest. See more at palabrasdelpueblo.com. Now back to Ernesto Ayala with more Aztlan Weekly.
And back in Califas, the La Raza Community Resource Center announces on Saturday, 12/6, we are donating 50% of our sales to La Raza at La Raza CRC. Every year we choose a Saturday in December and donate 50% of all sales and orders to an organization that feels meaningful to us. La Raza is a mission-based organization that does amazing essential work. Their legal wing offers free representation to Latino and other low-income migrant communities. They fight against unlawful removal of migrants and immigrants, help people navigate the citizenship process, and protect low-income workers, the elderly, and the disabled against injustice. La Raza Community Resource Center provides rental subsidies, stocks of free food and essentials pantry, and helps families reunite and access resources. Weekends in December are our highest volume days of the year. We'll have cookies and wrapping paper. You need stocking stuffers, you need that perfect book for your boss, your bus driver, your beloved. Please help us knock it out of the park this year. Orders placed on Saturday count toward the total. Tell your friends, tell your familia. We're doing our shopping at Christopher's on Saturday for La Raza. And once again, our camarada Joe González desde Califas shares La Resistencia Brown Berets Nacional y la Mesa Nacional de los Brown Berets in conjunction with the North American School for Organizers and the Second Rainbow Coalition invite you to join La Clecha, fireside chats, revolutionary political educational classes. Join them online to sit around the fire para una plática that looks forward to build structure within the movement of community organizers and learn about history, unity, and resistance. This is a weekly online event taking place via Zoom. every Thursday evening at 5:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and it is open to the public. For more information, visit naso.network. And now, Curly Tlapoyahua's Aztlan Classics.
Jovita Idar is a Chicana icon. Born in 1885 in Laredo, Texas, Jovita was a pioneering journalist, teacher, and activist whose work left a lasting impact on civil rights and education. She used her voice to fight for the rights of Mexican Americans through her family's newspaper, La Crónica, where she tackled issues like racial discrimination, women's suffrage, and poor working conditions. In 1911, she helped organize the first Mexican Congress in Texas, advocating for bilingual education and labor rights. The conference motto was the bold, Todo por la raza y para la raza. During the Mexican Revolution, she provided aid and support to refugees and wounded soldiers. Idar's activism challenged both gender and racial norms of her time. Today, she is remembered as a trailblazing journalist and organizer who uplifted her community and paved the way for future generations of Chicana leaders and writers. Que viva Jovita Idar.
And now, shout-outs. Special shout-out to the internet influencer, activist, and educator Chicana Huera. Find her on Instagram by searching Chicana_Huera. We'd like to make a shout-out to Curly Tlapoyahua for allowing us to feature his Aztlan Classics series. For more, follow the Instagram page by searching Aztlan Classics. Also, if you'd like to hear more from Curly, he and Ruben Tlacatecat co-host the podcast Tales from Atlantis. You can find the show wherever podcasts are available and on social media by searching Tales from Atlantis. And we'd also like to make another special shout out to Hennessy Pedro Parker, desde Houston, Texas, for providing his feed and beats for the same segment and throughout our program. If you'd like to hear more from him, visit soundcloud.com/Hennessy Pedro Parker. Gracias, carnal, for the phone.
I'm Scott Russell Duncan, Chicano writer, editor, and Aztlan Weekly reporter with the widest name. Scott! Aztlan Weekly is letting me shout out my novel, Old California Strikes Back, which folks have called the Chicano Fear and Loathing. The hero is Joaquin Murrieta, the villain is Zorro, and the narrator, me, is somewhere in between. Check it out at flowersongpress.com. You can also check out the speculative anthology I edited, Chicanx Futurism, Gritos for Tomorrow. Stories, essays, art, poetry, and comics, imagining Raza futures where we're not side characters. Orale. I also served as assistant editor for Somos Chicanas, the first Chicana anthology in decades, edited by Lee Schwag. Get both anthologies at riotofrosespublishinghouse.com or request them at your local bookstore. Now back to Ernesto Ayala with more Aztlan Weekly.
And once again, our camarada Veronica Ariel would like to give a shout out to all Raza who are in any way contributing to building locally in their communities. And an invite to join el Partido Nacional de la Raza Unida to build national political power. If interested, visit razaunidaparty.org. That's razaunidaparty.org. And finally, Aztlan Weekly would like to hear from you, Raza. If you reside anywhere in Aztlan and would like to share newsworthy events with us, or if you would like to make a special shout out to family, friends, or queridos, or an organization serving our community, or if you would like to share your thoughts, cáiganle. Shoot us an email at news@aztlanweekly.com, or you can visit our website at aztlanweekly.com. You can also find us on social media, search Aztlan Weekly, and click follow, subscribe, like, or share. Gracias. Que viva la raza y que viva Aztlán libre. Es todo.
Minutes, Coordinated Universal Time.